Okay, I'm gonna go then. Huh. Okay, so I was curious. You talked about the IC and how you find it so important. I just wondering if you could expand on that a little bit more for
Oh,
people.
sure, it's easy. Most astrology was done for kings and rulers and emperors, and now it's come down to people for their jobs, to their careers, and most of it about your social position, your status, what you're going to achieve, how you're going to be out in the world, and whether you succeed or fail.
Mhm.
So much of astrology, a large part of astrology, is geared to that status, to that position. It doesn't talk about where you're coming from, what motivates you, how you are at home, what's your personal integrity. That point of personal integrity, that it's like the umbilical cord of the soul that I see. It's how you're connected to your spirit. So it's one of the deeper sensitive points in your chart. It's where you transcend the worldly circumstance of the houses and you're open to inner meditations or inner depth or inner concerns, but it's also where your deepest complexes are.
Right.
So we come from the IC, which is the midnight point of your chart,
Yeah.
and everything from that point is rising. So we come from this depth and we start to express it in the third house. We try and identify to it, then we try and put our energy out. We get up, we get ourselves together, and then we get ourselves to meet the world. Then we go out the door and we go out to do career, we accomplish things, we get results, good or bad. It comes back and affects us in our feelings. We take things in, but as it hits the descendant, it comes back and affects our feelings when we go to sleep. When we lose our consciousness and we're having to be alone and in our not in control, our IC is powerfully influencing then. It's determining whether we wake up confident the next day or not. That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
So
Cool.
it's important for people, even in their career. Now, your motivation is usually opposite to your status. The status, what I got to do to get out there. This is who I am. So we often are trading off our inner being for the status.
Right.
Some people don't. Some people hold on to their inner being, whether it fits in the, and they're ridiculed out in the world, but not less potent or less meaningful.
Cool. I like that. Yeah, I think people don't may some astrologers don't put enough emphasis on that kind of cardinal cross, the ascendant, descendant, and the midheaven and the high C. So I loved when you said that, and
What
I like
happens,
the umbilical cord of the soul. I think that's
so
cool.
what happens is you normally you memorize the 12 houses, you see the things that affect the child, and you read everything into affecting those houses or those areas of concern.
Yeah.
But really, with the IC and the MC, you're dealing with what's rising and what's setting. You're dealing with the phases. This is rising out of the IC. It's coming back and being dumped back in on us. This is how I deal with it. This is how I integrate things. If something bad happens, how do I take it? How do I go home and deal with it? Or how I get out to it. So you want to get to the roots of alcoholism or roots of a complex or a special behavior thing. You got to go down to the IC to get to that core of a person.
Hmm. Cool. I like that. That's great. Guys, I will just have a conversation with Robin because I have lots of questions. I have lots of questions here. So, does anyone want to butt in?
I do.
Hey, go ahead, Carla.
Hi, I'm Carla. I just wanted to say thanks for playing the musical part because like so often we hear about this being harmonious, as placement or not, and when you're playing it through, like you can start to see where like that is played out musically, but it
Mhm.
makes me understand why something would not be a harmonious position or whatever. So that was fantastic. And I just wanted to say that I kind of forgot about the sub Pentans and all that over the years, and it was a good reminder. So thanks, Robin.
Okay, yeah. To play them all would have taken about 20 minutes to go through the whole 400 different pentans and subpentans and with the musical scales with it. And I just thought it was too much. If you're meditating, yes, but to do it as a webinar, it's too much. You're sitting there, you'd be bored to death. So it's I just to show you that it's just to show that it can go in these places.
Yeah.
That there's prayers for each degree of the zodiac. There's sensitivities out there. There's so much information to tap, but you have to have your natal chart stuff together first before you got to know planets, signs, houses, and all those things first. Then you jump up to see what higher energies are coming in and affecting that, and then you have to see if you're living up to them or not.
I have to say, Robin, that your slides were just beautiful. Like the colors, the design, it was just really beautiful. So thanks for that. I was admiring
Yeah,
that a
they
lot.
evolved over the years. Like
Hmm.
I had the idea, but as I'm teaching it with the classes, oh, this is I'd see the thing. Oh no, I got to present it this way. I got to present. So it's evolved over the years. Yeah.
Really visually beautiful. So, I'm sure you're familiar with decans. So
Yeah.
decans are kind of the 10 degree divisions
Yeah.
of the zodiac. So this is cool. I had never I'm familiar with decans, but I didn't realize there was this Pentans, which is
Yeah,
cool.
they have the decans and they have the duads, which puts the whole zodiac across the sign.
Yeah.
After working, I started working with all of those things, but when it came to the Pentans, I just let the others go because it's just too vitally alive.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you about that. How did you transition to that? And you just found it just spoke to you?
Yeah, it was, you can think about something, you can read about something, you can watch a movie about something. When it's actually happening to you, it's a different energy. So that it's in this checking your chart. So wow, it just hit nerves in me that it kept doing that. So I couldn't get away from it. And after probably, I had to work with the regular stuff for 4 or 5 years anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And slowly by 10 years, they were all gone. I just worked with the Pentans.
Cool. And you said that was from Fagan? You read about it?
No, I didn't get that. I came to it myself. But,
oh, this is yours.
Yeah. But I found that Cyril Fagan, he's the first person to present the Egyptians were using Pentans.
Okay. Got it.
So I'm not the only one that's done this.
Right.
I came to it on my own from looking at the light and the dark and the seasons and how that fits to this, how the cycle could repeat within itself. It was just a technical, oh, look at that. Oh my goodness, let's try it. And then it just grew from there.
Awesome. Okay. Someone else, would you like to ask a question?
Yes, I would.
Great.
Robin, thank you so much. I have truly enjoyed it because I feel like you've just given me a key to unlock a whole other layer in astrology. I was following in my own chart and I had an epiphany moment and I went, oh my God, now I understand a certain aspect of myself. And
who's talking?
Oh, it's
sorry?
So it's Inga. Inga, you're not showing up on video, so.
You know what? My video camera is for some reason frozen and I can't unlock it.
Oh, no problem. So it's Inga. Okay, go ahead.
I'm so sorry. Like I've been hitting the video camera to unlock and it doesn't want to.
No problemo. Okay, continue. Sorry.
So I just wanted to say how amazed I was at your presentation. But at the same time, how do I find out more about it? Like if I wanted to really go into, do you do astrology charts as well to kind of shed light onto the Pentan aspect of it?
This is it.
I would love to learn more, but not as a course, more as just kind of within my own chart.
Look at your wife, look at your kids, look at your husbands, look at your mothers and fathers, and watch it. And you say, oh, look at that. And you're getting it. This is the structure. This is the scale. So here you got the notes, you got the scale. You're going to do the dance. But as you get your own experiences on it, it'll become yours. And that's the way it works. That's the way astrology works. So like, I don't think I'll ever sit down and write the 144 like the sun. I've done that for the signs of the zodiac for relationships or for sun moon signs. I could copy it over, but I don't think I'm going to do it. I don't think it's necessary. It's better leave it open because you really, when you're dealing with a pentan, you have each sign, you have all the categories. You have the rising or the daylight's increasing or not increasing as something to add into that. You have the light is greater. You have the 4 seasons that can be on that in that pentan. Then you have the cardinal in that pentan. Then you have the fire, water, air, earth in that pentan. Then you have the rulership of that pentan. There's like all these different categories that are extra information into that 5 degrees on top of the sign. It's huge. You just have to get the in-depth thinking is just do one at a time, take it through. When I did this, it was easier in talking to you to generally talk on the rulership and see the rulership, how the rulership made sense and how you could see that theme there. But it wouldn't be very hard to add the rulership. Oh, and that element is an air sign, so they're writing, or it's an earth sign, so they're doing something. You would add that extra element and see it coming. It's not set in stone it's not set to be a rigid definition or limitation of you, just an embellishment of how you can blossom into something that's more relevant to you.
Robin, so when you're doing a consultation with someone and you're using Pentans, do you use it just do you kind of go through every planet in their chart and do this, or you just kind of do it as it comes up, just a fluid?
At times, I've done it over the years different ways. When I first into this, I was doing a lot more. Now I save it for when it's useful, when it's needed. But if I were if you're going to like, I can look at a chart within a minute or two. I know what's happening in someone's life. I know what I'm going to talk to somebody about.
Mm.
But I'll usually spend an hour or more studying the chart to know what does that person need to hear?
Yeah.
What do they need to get? Not what do I have to say? What do they need to hear? And then, okay, well, and if there's a real big complex, like a kid's addicted to something and is on the edge of death, or parents are worried about a suicidal kid or something like, you get these really dark things. Then you have to find what's an answer. Where's some light in this? And it keeps pushing you. Well, you work through the Pentans, you work through different things. There's different layers you keep going. And you go from the transits to progressions, you start looking at things that evolve. It's not just finding a rational explanation, it's finding what's the healing piece that's useful for this person.
Mm-hmm.
What's causing the problem, and what few things are causing what, and how do you start working at something to do it? So a lot of times I send people to all sorts of people because I'm not a specialist in it, but I can see they might need a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a therapist. I can get to the nerve of things. You might go to a therapist for 10 years and not be able to get to the nerve of something. With a chart, you can get to it right away, but then you still might need some therapy to work through it. No, but when you start seeing relationships and two people stay in the same room together, you got the kid, how could I have a kid like this? But the kid, or us, is really the combination of our parents' transits at the time we're born.
Yeah.
We just suck it up. They're acting it out, we pick it up.
I know, that's cool.
So it's you and that other half that made this kid. And that kid's got the both of it, for better or worse. But the soul gains the experience, whether it's good or bad. It's a win-win on the soul side.
Mm-hmm.
But when we're in here, astrology is measuring our ego and life and how we're growing through it and how we navigate through it. It's not measuring our soul, which is oneness. It doesn't have any definition. It's measuring everything up to it. So it can help us get our world in order, put things in order so it's not as complicated, it's not as messed up. We fix up our karma a little bit. Wow, that makes a huge difference. So with the Pentans, you use it selectively. But right now, if you just have it running across it, check out go spend some time, spend a few weeks, look at the charts and just see them, make some notes. Say, oh, look at this. Oh, some you're going to puzzle about, and some you're going to say, oh, look at that. I just so see that.
And sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I'm teaching a relationship astrology course right now, and I just thought, oh, it's so interesting. As I was doing my husband's and my daughter's, I thought, oh, it's just so interesting to use Pentans in relationships too. Would you use that as like another level of ministry? Sure.
Yeah. Just you're seeing a qualification for each person. That's their special take on that sign. It's incredibly useful and seeing, oh, they have that's why you get two Virgos together, or two of any sign together. You're going to see this incredibly stand out. Mm-hmm. You're dealing with twins. And you're looking at the ascendant, it can just change on the sub-pentans. It really works for twins. You see a few minutes difference. Even C-sector twins, they'll have a different sub-pentan.
Yeah.
On it. So the sub-pentans you'd think it's further out, but it's actually much more intimate and really penetrating. But at first, just work with because you have to see the sign to the pentan first before you can go to the next level. And once you're comfortable with it, then you can look at the other and say, oh, look at that. But if you jump right to it, they just mix together and it's not as lucid. Mm-hmm. Just think hours, minutes, seconds. Like there's 3 levels. Same cycle, 3 levels. It's so important they put on every ship in the British Navy. HMS. Hours, minutes, seconds. It really was supposed to be Her Majesty's service, but I see it as hours, minutes, seconds.
That's awesome. All right, guys. Who has another question?
Because it's a language, right? Astrology is a language. How you use it, that's up to your spirit. It's not what so-and-so said this, someone said this, Robin said this, they said this. It's not that. That's just the grammar lessons of the language. You're going to explore it for yourself. Explore your own chart. Take your sun, take your moon, look at your Mercury, look at your IC. See how that works. Do a little Dear Diary, a little thing on your chart. Make it real to you. And once it's real to you, it comes naturally to everyone else. So making it real to you rather than fitting into the objective definition, so-and-so said this, or this book said this, and saying that, that's more dangerous astrology.